Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
Binance CEO calls stablecoin Tether a black box. How assuring. Who was it? Wasn't there somebody yesterday that said something? Oh, I know who it was. It was Warren Davidson. He said that they should be looking into Tether before they look into Ripple. And he's right. Now listen to what the CEO of Binance says. Well, got to do the old refresh. Here we go.
What makes Binance's stablecoin BUSD different than some of the others out there like Tether and Circle?
So number one, Binance USD is actually not issued by Binance. It's issued by Paxos, which is a NYDFS licensed entity operating out of New York. So we don't issue it and we don't control it. We just help to promote it because we have a branding collaboration. I believe BUSD is the most properly backed. Their reserves are the highest of any stablecoin. It's different from Tether. Tether is more or less like a black box. No one ever audited it, including myself. Right. I don't have any information that's not public.
Your website, though,
is kind of back. Yeah.
Your website, though, says...
You mean nobody's audited it kind of like the way nobody has audited the Ethereum pre-sale? Kind of like that?
BUSD is subject to regular audits, but they're actually attestations, right? Can you just clarify for us if they're audits or attestations?
I'm actually not sure of the technical detail, to be honest. So the audits would be done by Paxos, and they will be conducted with Paxos. So we don't really manage the reserves at all. We just help to promote that stablecoin, and we lend our brand to it, and it does have the strongest reserve backing.
$80 billion black box. He is so right. Now this is funny. XRP The Standards Production says, where the hell is BlackBerry XRP, who is Mr. Intuitive, the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel? Where the hell is he walking to all the time anyway? Probably an answer that only the cool guy could answer, and I can hear him saying it now. To the finish line, brother. I can totally hear him saying it as he's walking down the street to the finish line. We're all walking to the finish line with the official cool guy, is the way I see it. Now, Susan Friedman from Ripple, this is from yesterday. Today's hearing in the Senate was a clear indication that both sides of the aisle are interested in crypto and looking to collaborate on fostering innovation and protecting consumers, starting with the opening statements of these two congresspeople. This person is from Senator from Minnesota. Compared CFTC's expansion over swap markets following Dodd-Frank, asking CFTC Benham. Okay, this is the CFTC chair, Ralston Benham, who was speaking, folks. Remember that. So it's the equivalent of Gary Gensler, but he's the chairman of the CFTC. Gensler, of course, chairman of SEC. If the same should be done for crypto, if history is any indication, giving the SEC, the CFTC a larger remit would go a long way in bringing clear rules of the road for crypto. What we also heard throughout the hearing from both witnesses and the committee was a resounding critique of the patchwork approach to crypto thus far in the United States, leading to diminished American competitiveness and innovation. We hope to continue to see productive and positive hearings like this one moving forward. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. Now, we know that Gary Gensler was the chairman of the CFTC. We know that he's now the chairman of the SEC. We know that Ralston Benham guy is the chairman of the CFTC now. We know that they've been working hand in hand on crypto all the way back to 2018, because the CFTC was working with the SEC on the Brooklyn project with Consensus, Joseph Lubin, and Andrew Keyes. That's from the Charles Gasparino report I've shown you before. We know that Gary Gensler's been consulting with all these people since way back then, okay? I want anybody from government to explain to me why Gary Gensler can't give a straight answer to what Ethereum is, but he's the chairman of the SEC, but the chairman of the CFTC can. That doesn't make any sense to me. Do any of our politicians know the answer to this?
your view of whether Ethereum is a security or not. I think you've actually suggested it isn't, but then why you believe that Ripple is a security. I know there's an ongoing lawsuit related to Ripple, but could you speak to the Ethereum issue?
Andrew, just to have a little fun with you, refer back to my earlier question. I'm not going to speak to any one matter, and so your listeners understand it. I'm the chair of a 5-member commission that's also a civil law enforcement agency. And so we don't get involved in these types of public forums talking about any one project, one possible circumstance, and give legal advice over the airways that way.
Are certainly a large number of coins that are commodities, including 2 of the biggest, which are Bitcoin and Ether.
So why is one of our agencies not allowed to talk about it, but the other is allowed to talk about it? That makes absolutely no sense. I think he should be forced to answer that question. If I was running this government, I would have Gary Gensler's butt on the chair right beside that Benham guy from the CFTC, and have Benham say what it is, and then have Gary Gensler answer what Ethereum is. And then after he wouldn't answer it, I would say, wait a minute, you guys work together, you guys are working in coordination with, how on earth can you guys coordinate with each other and then coordinate with whoever else departments, Treasury or Federal Reserve? If I got one twerp over here who can't even tell me what it is, who's not being forthright, and he's sitting on whatever he believes, and the other guy is being straightforward, how can we even do anything? Makes no sense. Somebody like that has no place running anything, much less the SEC of the United States of America. And everybody listening to my voice knows it. This is pitiful. They ought to boot that guy out of there on his butt. All right, now watch this. This is the guy, I think that maybe the CEO of Library, who's also being sued by the SEC. Listen to part 2.
A security. I wonder what that makes Beanie Babies, artwork, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards. People buy all of those things hoping the price would go up. Library says that they've never advertised LBC as an investment. It's a utility token to be used on the platform, just like you use a Chuck E. Cheese token at Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, when you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
What makes a Chuck E. Cheese token fine that a Chuck E. Cheese cryptocurrency is security? Another thing outlined under the SEC's new standard is that if the blockchain is being actively developed, then the tokens on that platform are considered a security. Well, I don't know of any tech platform that isn't being actively developed. All crypto besides Bitcoin could be SEC targets now. Some already are.
Some that would say cryptocurrency is a commodity, some would say it's a currency, others would say it's a property. And then you also have some that say some cryptocurrencies are securities.
Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse was also sued by the SEC.
Your regulation shouldn't be a guessing game.
As it stands, the definition of cryptocurrency changes depending on which government department you're asking.
This is fine.
Library said in a post yesterday that they repeatedly asked the SEC how to run the company legally. The SEC said that they could not tell them, and they could only tell them that they were breaking the law. They also said that the SEC insists on conducting business over the phone and won't put anything in writing. This uncertainty makes it really difficult for many crypto businesses to operate.
We've seen a lot of successful startups who've decided to leave our shores or never even start here because the regulations are so burdensome.
And when these companies go offshore, US customers lie and say that they're not American just so that they can still get access to these things.
It should say something to the people making these decisions when you see so much effort working at trying to avoid the regulations, whether it's people logging in with VPNs, companies barring the United States, companies going to lawyers and spending millions of dollars trying to figure out how to not have the regulations govern them or how to not be a security. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars and thousands of people being, this time being...
Yeah, it's a joke. Now, Ryan Selkis, who has blocked me, I posted the Joseph Lubin video where he's talking about helping to disguise whale purchases underneath one of Ryan Selkis's things, and apparently he didn't want to see that, so he blocked me. But on this, I agree with him. He says, I didn't write a thing about crypto. He had a whole thread, but I just grabbed this one. Rob Licker hooked me up with it. I didn't write a thing about crypto here, of course, but think about how pissed off so many pro-crypto moderates are with the SEC right now. Multiply that by every single functional priority that Goldman Gary is butchering, and he's a walking Democratic electoral loser. Republicans would do well to make Goldman Gary a household name this year if they want to win elections. Democrats would do well to force him out of the administration. Spoiler, a $121 million anti-union, pro-China, anti-crypto, anti-climate leader doesn't poll well. Well, don't you worry, Ryan. We'll help get the word out. Now, something that is not making sense to the blockchain backer is also not making sense to moi. The whole thing is boggling odd. That's a good phrase. I like that. Boggling odd. This is who stole $3.6 billion in Bitcoin. I'm not going to play the video because I'm afraid it'll be a copyright hit, but I like this guy's response. U.S. hacks Bitfinex, steals 120,000 Bitcoin. U.S. goes undercover and asks two patsies to launder. U.S. busts patsies, recovers Bitcoin. U.S. now has a reason to hold 120,000 Bitcoin. Whole thing just reeks of a setup. I have to agree. Ripple tweeted this out today. From NFTs and CBDCs to crypto liquidity, payments, and compliance, our newest report provides a fresh perspective on the global use, benefits, and perception of crypto solutions. Blockchain and digital assets are changing the way the internet changed information, creating vast decentralized network that is driving new efficiencies, capabilities, and even new industries. As blockchain and cryptocurrencies mature, an increasing amount of business are leveraging them in various ways, and more consumers both understand and own digital assets. With increased consumer adoption comes high expectations within institutions, businesses, governments, and wide-scale adoption of blockchain, crypto, CBDCs. As usual, Ripple's all over it. Now, Eleanor Terrett had tweeted this out. This is interesting. Some interesting insight into the administration's impending executive order on crypto from a former government official. It's more of a bottom-up approach than a top-down one, meaning the agencies, SEC and CFTC, go to the administrations and say, hey, we need an executive order. That almost sounds like the old Gary Gensler saying, I need a bailout or a life raft. So we can do things we want to do in the space, devote resources away from things that might be on the formal agenda, as opposed to having the admin telling the agencies what they should be doing. Often executive orders are circulated to the agencies for their input in advance. Any guidance in the order will likely come with input from the National Economic Council, the Treasury, and the SEC. No further insight from this person is on the timing of this thing, but it's likely the administration is waiting for agencies' 2 cents before releasing. Well, I hope they listen more to the CFTC than the SEC. Now, folks, my antenna is fully up now because out of nowhere, everybody's projecting. Everybody said, "Oh, we're worried about cyber attacks. We're worried about cyber attacks." Okay, and they're all, "Oh, Russia. We're worried about Russia doing." I'm not buying this for a minute. Do you remember just about every cyber attack that's ever happened to our government in the United States? Most of the time, they didn't even know it happened until 3 months later. But now they're anticipating it before it happens. No. This is not how cyber attacks happen, folks. The way cyber attacks happen, they just happen. And usually the victim never knows about it or finds out about it months later. And so when you see this is red flag city. Breaking news, the European Central Bank is telling Eurozone banks to step up their defenses against cyber attacks. Pay attention. And then there's this. New warning I got this morning when logging into a work application. Imminent nation-state cyber pandemic? Are you kidding me, folks? This sounds way too planned. Heo Seiko Carmona then sent me this. This is Jeremy Hogan. Check this out. Did you know that the USA has civil forfeiture laws by which the government can seize your property simply by alleging you are engaged in illegal activity and never have to even charge you with a crime? Be aware, crypto community, hashtag cold wallet. and I retweeted it and I said, pay attention, a government that doesn't listen to the people, bails out their friends, and I do know how to say there in that context, I'll put it right here, bails out their friends with public money and writes bail-ins into bank policy, cannot be trusted, and they are capable of anything. Anything, folks. That's why I always tell you, this is in the description of this video, get a Ledger Nano S, put at least some of your crypto on the Ledger Nano S so that these people can't confiscate anything or shut down a Coinbase and then say, hey, you're going to give us that person's stuff. No, that's not cool.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.